These two E28s behind me are almost identical, and that's because they were used in a film which is on Netflix. The only problem is this one runs, and that one is a dog. Now this car was won on eBay for as little as £700. And when you went to collect this car, there was something tucked up in the corner with a cover on it. That was this one. Now while these cars look the same, this one here has had a very hard life, and you can probably tell by the massively reinforced bumpers, it wasn't used normally. And it's probably pretty obvious that this car needs a lot of work, hence why I have it. And the first problem we have is there is no steering. And we'll get into why it has no steering in a bit, but for now, I need to get this in the workshop, so I need to put some steering on it. Now luckily for me, I usually end up with a lot of BMW stuff, so I should be able to sort out some steering on this car. We'll see about that, but for now I'm going to get underneath this dashboard and make that reality. This car is so bad, and I've not really looked at it since it arrived, and I'm hoping everything just sort of happens smoothly, but I can't promise that. What has happened here? Okay, I don't think this is going to be as straightforward as I imagined. Right, let's talk about why I'm having a terrible time just connecting the steering now. This car, big reinforced bumper on the front, big reinforced bumper on the back. And on the passenger side of this car, there is 4 or 5 mil steel folded all the way down the side as a reinforcement. So they probably use this as a lot of like crashing. There was a segment in the film where Mark Wahlberg is in the boot and he breaks into the car, and the guy driving this car is the bad guy. He starts beating up the guy who's driving the car. Now, in that segment, that driver's door folds open, flips round, which is why this is all caved in here. So this goes like that, whoosh, bangs into there, and then this door gets smashed off down the road. Now, you'd probably assume that the car was on a trailer and that's how they filmed it, but that is not the case, and it's to do with those bars on the top here. This car was being driven down the road while they're fighting in the cockpit. Those bars on the roof were mounting points for a man who sat in a little cage pod on the roof. And I'll overlay the pictures here. He was driving up the top, and he was basically controlling the complete car from up there while the car's driving down the road. Now, to do that, they've actually removed the pedal box, the steering column, and there's a bunch of reinforcement bars underneath the dash. Blower motors come out, everything like that. And they basically had a Bluetooth like steering rack, probably out of a Tesla, so it's like drive-by-wire steering rack, and it's all loads of mounting points underneath the dash. So the guy at the top has no actual mechanical connection from the steering wheel to the steering box, and all they've done is mounted the steering rack underneath the dash. I don't know where that steering rack is, they obviously use it in many different cars, but they just connected their Tesla steering rack to the steering box and just electronically controlled it, which all allowed for that scene to work out. Now, the bars that hold that steering rack in there are still in there, so I've got to cut those out before I can get the car steering again, which is really, really annoying because I wanted to do that in the workshop and it's getting colder and darker. So yeah, I'm going to crack on, going to get the rip saw in there, cut some of the remaining brackets out just so I can get it in the workshop, and hopefully we'll dig into it a little bit more and make it into, well, a car that looks like that one again. They went into some effort making this work. I mean, they didn't really do a nice job cutting it out, and the sunroof is welded in. But yeah, if we dig in, you'll see the bars that I'm talking about. That bar is reinforced off of the cage that then runs through the car. So that is Frenched into the car like a full roll cage, but it just sort of sits in the car. It's all like bent all the way around. So you can put the pillars back on. You can see it better there. You can put the pillars back on, and you wouldn't even know there's a cage in there, which is, there's a lot of effort. Well, you've got to hide these things in the film. So yeah, underneath here, you can see that bar that goes across, big reinforcement bar. And this is where their power steering would have mounted. And then the steering box is in there, which you probably can't see. And they've had to cut a little hole out the bulkhead and whatnot. And oh yeah, this as well. The tunnel is no longer here. And this shifter doesn't even do anything. It's just there as a prop, so they could put a gear knob on it. The way they shifted it was through this little add-on here. So they probably had a mechanical shifter underneath the dash or something. But yeah, they've really destroyed this poor E28. So yeah, all of that's got to be removed, and we've got to make it actually mechanical again, not electronically controlled. There's so many holes and stuff. No blower motor. I do have the segment of the tunnel though. Look at this. We should be able to, you know, patch it up and get it in there. It is missing some sections, but oh, we've got some welding to do in here. Why is it not? Oh my, just fell off. That is a major inconvenience, I'll be honest. I hope they haven't cut the brackets off, because that's going to be making me really upset. What the hell? Oh, this is so annoying. There's like stripped bolts underneath the dash. I can't connect the steering properly. It's all mash up. Looks like it was removed with a pickaxe. Oh no. Yes, yes, yes. Oh. Come on, come on. Wow. Many thanks to the van, we now are over here without steering still. What a nightmare. Times like this, I wish I had a forklift, because that would have made my life a lot easier. But we've got this thing in the daylight now, so we can have a little bit more of a look at it. So, Lewis told me that these cars were identical, and turns out this isn't identical to the one that he has, because when we went to view this one, or go collect it, there was no radiator, no header tank. It obviously had no brake booster, no master cylinder, it had no steering, had no pedal box, didn't have the same wheels on it. It also has massively reinforced panels all the way down the side, which are bolted with massive bolts through the doors, which is less than ideal. All the interior is horrible in this thing. It's absolutely horrendous. Seat covers. So this is all cover over the top. We've got normal seats underneath it. All this headliner is like, soaked, but it's stretch carpet, and that's to hide the framework in the roof. So we need to do something about that, because, well, can't have the headliner hanging down like this all the time. So we didn't have that, didn't know about the tunnel, didn't know about all these special bars underneath the dashboard, wasn't told about any of that. And, well, we've now got to fix it. This also doesn't have a welded diff in it, so yeah, there's lots to do. Luckily, it does have an M54 in it, but it doesn't have any keys, any starter button, anything like that. It doesn't have a shifter. So yeah, there's loads to do. There's so much to do. But for now, I'm gonna try and just strip that interior down, because all those brackets and stuff underneath the dashboard need to be cut out. And I also need to do a lot of welding to that tunnel. So basically, I'm gonna pull everything out the inside and give ourselves a fresh start. Oh, lovely. I like the swimming pool feature we've got in here. It's really quite nice. That would be because there's massive holes in the roof, unfortunately. Oh, wet under here as well. So yeah, good job. I'm gonna pull this out. This is a real piece of junk. This one. This is the one that went through it. But I'm sure it was great fun while it lasted. Oh, right. Just took the dash out as well because it was held in with one bolt. It looks bad, but I think it looks worse than it actually is. So let's have a look. So now it's all stripped, dash is out. You can see that. Well, you can see the cage thing that goes across all the way down into the floor pan. Same again on that side. You can see it just sort of follows the contour of the car internally. The main thing is to, fix a bunch of holes on the bulkhead. This hole there is a bit opened up. This hole here is a bit opened up. These bolts here that hold the column on, they're all stripped, which is really annoying. This bit is missing some bolts at the back here. So I need to get some bolts into there and then get this all mounted up accordingly. And obviously over that side, all the ECU is just hanging upside down. So yeah, that is a pile of junk. Pretty hacked up car. It's never going to be a nice car ever again. All you can really do is turn it back into a usable car again, which is exactly what I'm going to do, because the plan is to actually turn this into a little bit of a drift car, because it's the perfect candidate. It's still got the engine swap in it. It's got the big brakes, it's all poly-bushed. It just needs that little bit extra work putting into it to make it a drivable car again. So it needs a fuel system, it needs the steering sorting, it needs all the holes sorting, it needs brake lines all around. This one doesn't have any brake lines. Needs the correct set of wheels, needs the bumpers, needs all the panels straightening out, need to just cover up all the holes on the roof, get the shifter working, wire in start and button, and yeah, there's actually quite a lot to do. But the plan is, aesthetically, get them matching for now, because that looks like an eyesore. The other one looks like an eyesore, but that really does look like an eyesore, and I want them to look the same. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Oh my. No. Oh wow. Oh wow. No way. So I've started just cutting this whole thing out because the whole of this panel is so welded on there. I thought if I just cut the whole thing off, it'd be alright. Now, there's lots of holes in here. There's this hole here, just there. Watch when I lift this up. They've torched a hole in the gearbox. You can see straight into the gearbox. Just there. Oh man. That's not good. That is bad. You've obviously been driving around with it, with a hole in it. What the hell? It's just not good. It's not good. To add insult to injury, I've just found out that the bumper mounts are not even bolted on. They're just welded straight to the chassis. I thought I'd just be able to unbolt them. Oh. Right, it is the next day, and mission to make this car look less of an eyesore is a go. And it now makes sense why I bought this BMW donor car. So I'm going to be taking the rear bumper, trims, front bumper, fog lights, probably take some headlights for the taking. Gonna just basically ransack a bunch of bits off this. Brake master cylinder, that's going to come with us as well. Steering, well, probably going to end up nicking some of that as well. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to come over into the other car. And with YouTube magic, we're going to remove those parts right now. So we've got the rear bumper, the front bumper, the master cylinder. There's going to be a lot of other things that are actually coming off that car, but the front valance isn't off that car. The front valance on that green E28 is completely rotten. And that front valance was in the bush of the 4 E34s that we pulled back out the bush like last year. And that was just in the bush, and he said we can have it. And I was like, well, I don't have an E28. A year or so later, we'll be using that. But I don't actually have the paint right now, so I'm gonna order some paint. So that won't go on today. But the main priority is getting, well, the other bits sorted. So these big smash bars, as we found out, are basically welded to the car. So I'm gonna have to rip saw it. The bumper bracket down here has been cut out, so I need to figure out something with that as well. This is just really butchered car. I'm sort of regretting my decisions at the minute, but I'm sure it'll be all right. It'll be great loads of fun once we're done. But yeah, we need to cut this off because it's straight up welded to the car. Woo! That is quite the bumper, I'll be honest. Wow. And on an E28 bash bar. Out of here. It looks so much better. Looks so much better. Yeah, this is usually where the original bumper would mount onto. And you can see there's now a pole there. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that yet, but we'll soon find out. Maybe some cable ties will do the job. They ain't going nowhere. That changes the whole entire car and makes it look like an actual car again. Despite it being all rotten, but it doesn't matter on this car because it's a piece of junk. And there's one more thing that I've got for this car, which I'm going to put on now while I have the opportunity. And it's a very important piece. Well, pieces. Ta-da! I have a set of 16-inch style 5s, and as you know from the last video, we have to have the 16-inch to fit over the 535 brakes all round. So, lovely gent who watches the channel said I could have these for a good deal, so thank you very much, sir. But these are going to make the car look so much better and actually look like the car that was in the film. Ah, that's so much better. That is so much better. Wow. That's much better, but those panels on the side are ruining the look. I need to take these off. They're horrendous. They're so bad. Oh yeah, I'm so glad that these are not nut and bolted. I'm scared to see what's behind it though. Hopefully it's blue and not just rust. Oh, these are short. Long. Oh no. That bottom bolt just rounded off. That's so annoying. Well, hopefully that all rubs off. Problem is, can't scrub it too hard because it will pull all of this paint off underneath it. But I guess it doesn't really matter because well, it's covered up anyway. I don't know what to do. Just like rust residue over the top, like ingrained into the paint. I don't know what to do. I've got a little like plastic brush here, which I'm scrubbing, but it's not really doing much. I want it to look aesthetically like it wasn't there, despite all these big holes. But yeah, I don't know what to do. Actually, I do know what to do. Carry on with the rest of my life and move forward. Now, it may seem like I'm jumping from thing to thing. You'd be right. I'm literally just moving on to something else every time, but I'm making a list as I go along. But still, the aim is to get it cosmetically looking less of an eyesore. So now, I'm going to get a hammer and smash it up for quite some time. Now this is smashed in here, so this is all bent round here. It's also bent here, which I think I know what I could do there actually. Oh, that, I think that did the opposite. That moved a lot. I think it's okay-ish. The problem is, this is pushed in here, and it's obviously pinched this whole edge upwards. So I'm thinking, if I take the wing off, get behind it, push it all out, or unless I can get behind it without having to take all of it out, and just push it all out, that might bring this edge down a little bit, but we can only get it close, we'll never get it perfect. It is mangled, so I'm going to jack it up, get a bit of wood under there, see if I can pop most of these dents out, get the door shut looking nice, and go from there. Right, after way too much time, we have a wing back on the car, which is looking better, but it is still mangles. Now, I'm also fighting the fact that when beating it into shape, the inner structure, this is like goes along the door post, that is usually pinched around the wing, and that popped out, and that does not want to go back into position. So I've lost some mounting points, but it's sort of straighter. The gaps are okay. This bit here is bent so tight, and I've tried to beat it into shape so many times, but you know, it's still better than it was. And if we hold this here, it looks all right. The door is dropped, so I need to pick that up and push this big dent out. But when this is pulled down, it sort of will fit. But I now have no mounting point down here because the bottom of the wing fell off because it was rotten. So I think what I'm going to do is put a tech screw just here for now. Realign the door, like lift it up, and then hopefully line this line up here with that line, and then it should look sort of something that you actually would want. I hope I don't seem like a little bit insane for trying to straighten all this out. But it does matter. It makes the overall thing look the part. I said the part makes it look better, and I feel like it needs it. Hopefully this is going to be satisfying. Yes, yes. No way. That looks wicked. Right, yeah, door needs to come up. So there's two 13s on each side, and I'm gonna do those. There we go. It's a bit better. Now, probably hard to tell if it's even better or not. This is extremely weak. I've stretched it in all sorts of different directions. I believe this frame, where they smash the door off in the film, isn't exactly straight anymore, so I struggled to get the door to a position where it wants to sit. As you can see here, chrome is low here, so that chrome's low here. But if you go over here, it's really tight. When I lift that side up, this hits up here. And this door, I spent about, I don't know, 45 minutes, and that's where we've got to. But this swage line lines up. That one is just a little bit off. But you've got to remember, this thing has been in a demolition derby, so it's never going to be perfect. The bottom of the wing missing is not ideal. I'm going to see if I have some spare trim laying around for that, because my donor car didn't come with that wing. I have that bit, so I'm going to put that on, and then I'm going to focus on ripping this front bumper off, chucking the wheels on, and we'll cut those bars off the top. This is why I keep everything, because this trim here is too long to go here, but this is a trim off the E28 donor car, which I'm just going to simply cut down, and it has a little bolt on the back, because I only have an incomplete set for an E28, so not like I'm splitting up a set. Just keep everything, and then one day it returns its favours. I've just noticed that this and this are not the same style. So, anyway, I can carry on. Ping! Here's what we're dealing with. They've welded it all the way down that seam, and on this side they've cut it off the edges, and it looks like they've cut where the bumper would mount. Hopefully by only a couple of mil. Hopefully it sits in here. Basically put the socket underneath in this hole, it goes up, and then you do the 17mm nut up on here, and the bumper just slides into this gap here. God, yeah, I should probably blow at that. Nice. It fits. Lovely. Nice. Next. Now we're kind of looking like a car again now. Apart from putting this little bit of trim onto here, we're pretty much going to just cut these off, push some dents out the roof, and stand back and look at the terrible car that we have. Hopefully that just pushes in. Nice. The finishing touch. But yeah, just need to get this out and go for it. Oh no. No. I've just snapped the last blade. Oh, hit the bonnet. Oh well. Now this is the remainder of what was a roof rack on this car. And I really want another roof rack for it, realistically, because it may hide the terribleness that's above here. That is the worst thing about this car. There's so many holes. Hole here, hole here, hole here, hole here, hole here, hole here. The roof, sunroof panel is welded in. It is not very good, but the roof rack would hide quite a lot of it. All right, let's round it off. Great. And finally, it looks like a car again. It may not look like much, but I have actually achieved quite a few things. I mean, this actually lines up really well now. That looks good. The bonnet line, I mean, once it's pressed down, when it's got the actual latch on it, it will look a little bit better, but it's never going to be good. The wing, that is, well, straight enough. All of this is all still like cable tied on. It's not actually final fit because obviously the valance needs to go on. I'll order some paint. The trims, every single one is different, annoyingly, but it is what it is. I may end up putting this trim that is on the green E28 onto this door so it sort of matches all the way along, and then put that over to the other side probably and just have one side that looks complete. I tell you what, it definitely looks better a little bit lower. This is like really high compared to the other one, but I think I'll lower it a little bit just so it's like tucking the tyre all the way around, and then probably make Lewis raise his one up a little tiny bit just so they sort of have the same height. These tyres are a little bit bigger than the other BMW. This dent at the back, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it because I can't imagine that's going to pull out very nicely at all. This bit you probably get out, but what's the point? Might as well just leave that on there. So that's good. Bumper looks good. I'm so happy that these things are just no longer on the car. It's so horrible, and it's just been such a horrible car to look at. It doesn't even look like the same car. Just with a few hours of beating it with a hammer and actually just dressing up the car, it actually looks like the movie car again. I don't know if I said or not, but I did actually end up putting a self-tapper in the bottom of there. So that is held on enough. Wish I could get this dent out here, but it's so like, this whole edge is like crinkled, and getting this to all line up as it is was a bit of a nightmare, but it does the job. I like it. It actually looks like a thing again. I'm excited to, you know, put some more effort into it and make it actually drivable. It's a shame about the roof. Of course, that is not what you want on your roof. I can weld little patches over the top of each one of these just to seal it all up. But if I'm going to do that, I'm definitely going to need the roof rack. So if you have a roof rack like identical to the one that was in the movie, that'd be great. I'm on the lookout for one now. It has like a weird angle, like bit of plate on the roof rack with loads of holes in. I'm very picky with stuff like that. It has to match perfectly. So if I weld those holes up on there, put the roof rack on, it will probably hide all those holes on the roof. Enough to keep your eye off it anyway. It's been outside the workshop and in the other workshop for so long now that it's just looked like a complete horrible eyesore that we'll never do anything with. And now it looks like it should do, really. Annoyingly, this car, because it had the big bumpers on it, didn't come with the movie plates. These plates are obviously for the movie, so they've got exactly the same plate. I need another one, so I don't know if anyone can actually make me one of these, or a sticker that replicates it so I can make my own. That'd be great, so I could put it on the front so it doesn't look like it's lost. But yeah, now, for this weekend, I will turn my attention back to the inside of this. This video has been all over the place, and I initially started it thinking I was going to get the pedals in, the brake booster, and steering, etc. But it turns out I needed a few extra bits of like parts and stuff I need to order, weld up the gearbox tunnel and stuff like that. So that'll happen in next week's video, but I ended up just doing the cosmetic bits because I think that makes like a crazy transformation. So that's why that's happened. But yeah, there's a lot to do in the interior of that and getting it all back in as well. Because In 2 weeks' time, less than 2 weeks' time, I've booked me and this car, and not yet Lewis, but we're going to a drift day at Santa Pod in less than 2 weeks. So this has to work. It needs brakes, it needs clutch, it needs radiator, plumbing in, wiring, all of that. And it still has none of those things, and I still don't have them. So yeah, I've got lots to figure out in the very near future. But yeah, plan, take both of the cars to Santa Pod. Lewis hasn't bought a ticket, even though I told him to buy a ticket, and he didn't buy a ticket. So if you've got a ticket for Santa Pod on the 10th of December, let me know, because I'm going to make him buy it since I fixed his car and it's ready to go. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. This is how to make your terrible car look less terrible while still being terrible. Pain. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to leave you here. Let me know what you think about the E28. Do you think I'm wasting my time, or am I absolutely insane for even just messing about with it? Can you see the vision? Because I can. It's going to be good. And that gearbox, I'm just going to fill it with chemical metal and call it a day. And see how it goes. Oh, see you next week. Goodbye.